What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today we're going to talk about toxic African American church culture. Because you'll find the most toxic people, they're members of the church. Come on, testify in the comment section for me. The most toxic, most irritating, most disgusting subhumans that you know are staunch members of the church. And if you want to find a church, an African American church, just go to the most dilapidated neighborhood you can find. Just go to the most undeveloped neighborhood you can find and look for the one nice building. You'll find the African American church, where Africans are continued to be indoctrinated utilizing white Christian superiority ideology with their white Jesus, because many of them still worshiping white Jesus. All right. And now some of them done try to turn white Jesus black, right? But white Jesus never existed. Black Jesus never existed. These are facts, because Christianity is a mythology, just like Islam is a mythology, just like Judaism is a mythology, just like other religions where they worship other people. Like they used to worship Zeus. At one point, people worship Zeus. At one point, people worshiped Apollo. At one point, people worshiped every one of these demi-Greek gods, and that was an actual religion to be taken seriously, and people fought wars and died and debated over whether it was real or not. And Christianity is literally no different. All right? It's just that a lot of African Americans, since they don't know who they are, they don't know their own spiritual system, they don't know their people, their roots, they still tend towards the religion that the white man gave them in order to enslave them. And I always say that Christianity is the last chain we need to take off our necks. All right, to free ourselves. And I know how hard it is, because people grew up in the church. Some of the best times you ever had was in the church. Some of our best organizations came out of the church. There are some good things that did come out of the church, but there's a lot of toxicity that comes out of the church. The black community is controlled by the pastor, who's controlled by another group of white pastors, who's controlled by some rich white man. That's how they congeal black people to get us to have the same singular thought, by passing it to our pastors. Our pastors pass it to us. That's why the pastor's riding around in a nice car, got a nice house in the burbs, but he comes to the hood with the dilapidated buildings, and he preaches to the poor people and tells the poor people to put money in his basket so he can go spend it, even though he's rich. But anyway, without further ado, let's check out the toxic African American church culture, and tell me what you guys think in the comment section. It's Afro Think Tank, learn some detail. I'm out.
Church culture is keeping a lot of people stuck in abusive, toxic, and emotionally draining relationships, because especially if you're a woman, if you leave, you have somehow let God down. Too many people are willing to stay no matter unhappy they are, endure mistreatment to prove their faith. They prioritize forgiveness over accountability. It is a whole list of things that y'all do in them toxic ass churches. And most of it is just control dressed up as spirituality, because you're not failing God, because you are leaving situations that are fucked up, that are not good for your mental or emotional health, and sometimes even your physical health. God does not want you to sacrifice your mental health, your dignity, your safety, all in the name of marriage. And some of y'all don't even be married. And please miss me with that pray harder bullshit, because praying harder does not escape you from accountability, basic human decency, and just treating somebody the right way. No.
As we deconstruct the impact the black church has had on black women, particularly in many cases traumatizing black women, it makes me think about a time where this woman was in obviously an abusive relationship, an abusive marriage. And the church that I was attending, they kept telling this woman, you just got to pray through it. You got to, be more submissive. You need to do more of this, more of that. And putting the onus all on the woman. And ladies, I know there's scriptures in the Bible that talk about divorce and how if you get divorced, you can't remarry. Yeah. I'm sorry. I believe that some of that is man-made and put into control. I'm sorry. And I know many of you who know me and know that I'm a Christian are probably thinking I've lost my mind and become new age. That's not it. It's just you got to start using some common sense in the body of Christ. And if you're with a man who is beating you or emotionally, not even putting his hands on you or your children, but emotionally abusive, you don't have to stay in it. You don't. Yes, marriage is a covenant. Yes, it is. But it's also one that you don't enter in unwisely and foolishly, and you don't stay in unwisely and foolishly. And for too long, Many men in the body of Christ, especially some of these black pastors, have wanted their cake and eat it too. So no, you don't stay in no relationship, not a job, not a church, not a situation where you're being abused. That's why I always say the abused bride of Christ. The most abused people on earth are the people in church a lot of times because of man's own doctrine. And then they put that on you. So that woman went home thinking, if I have more sex with this man, if I do this with him, submit more, be quiet. You'll hear a man tell you in a minute, but just don't talk so much to him. And yes, some of you women, we do talk a lot, but so what? That's no excuse for no man to be abusive to you. So as we are deconstructing the black church, ladies, you don't have to stay in no mess. You understand? God is a God of a second, third, fourth, 1,000 chances. Don't let people put that guilt and condemnation on you. Don't do it, sis.
The church was brought in so that they can keep the black person in a state of obedience and submission. Submission to the pastor or the priest, submission to the church. The church was brought in by missionaries to South Africa. It was part of the slave trade. It was part of oppression.
Yes.
The church was not there to liberate the black man. The church was brought in to keep the black man in a state of obedience to the white man. That's why the church was brought in. That's why even in some churches, whether you're looking at the previous NG Kerk or the previous church, oppression, right? The term kafir, right? The term non-believer, was perpetuated in the church. So what happened with the church in the Afrikaner churches? They would tell the people who attended church, the Afrikaner oppressors, that what you're doing is actually serving God because you are getting rid of these kafirs. These kafirs need to be kept away because they are against the word of God. That's why apartheid was infiltrated through the church. Right? Apartheid teachings were infiltrated through the church. Apartheid was infiltrated through the church. Oppression was an instrument that was used in the church. Now, the same people who used oppression in the church, you expect to be the same people who are going to give you the Bible and say, you know what, guys? This is going to make you prosperous.
But you're not going to tell me that what Christianity has done so much harm that I'm not going to keep my foot off of it. There's been kids that are struggling with their existence because of this book, because of the teachings. It's all on our currency. It's everywhere. We can't do shit. So we don't even have a choice. It's everywhere. It's too much.
If churches were good for the black community, the U.S. government wouldn't allow us to have it. Okay, now wait. All of my black Christians, all of my, but the Lord said, but the Bible said, but I love this, I love that. Listen, what are in black neighborhoods? We're over-policed. We got police officers everywhere. Are those good for us? No. We got the stores that sell drinking. I don't know what TikTok wanted me to say, but those drink stores, they're everywhere, every single corner. Are those good for us? We got 7-Elevens every single corner. Are those good for us? Do we have grocery stores with fresh groceries on every single corner? No. Most food deserts are in black neighborhoods. Do we have good elementary schools, well-funded schools and teachers in our neighborhoods? No. But those aren't our neighborhoods. We get 1 or 2 schools and they usually don't have the materials that they need to help our children. But you know what is on every black neighborhood corner? A church. In the 80s, they dropped those boxes in black neighborhoods full of that white rock-like substance. They gave us that. Was that good for us? Nope. They used that as a way to have an excuse to arrest black people left and right. But we have churches. Do they bother churches? No. We as a black people, right? We have this spiritual energy. We have this magic that is inside of us. We all feel it. We all know it's there. We all know we have some sort of God essence. And they gave us religion. They gave us Christianity so that they could put it in a box and control it and use it however they want to use it. You go to church every single Sunday. And every single Sunday for hours, you pray, you listen, you do all this stuff. But if you use that same exact energy and went every single Sunday to a class, you would have a degree. If you use that same energy to build a business, you would have a business. Use that same energy to write a book, your book will be finished. Use that same energy to build a house, you would have a house. Like, it's just like that time, that energy, that mental, spiritual, financial. If you use the same money that you put in your tithes every Sunday, every month, you got to put 10% of your money to your tithes. If you use that same 10% of your paycheck and you put it in a stock account, a high yield savings account, a brokerage account, ETF, poverty gone. You would have no poverty. You would have $100,000 in stocks right now. If for the last 10 years you put 10% of your paycheck in your stock account, you would have plenty of money. But instead, you gave it to the church, and you're in the same exact spot you were 10 years ago. All I'm saying is that church, it literally takes your time, your money, and your energy, and it doesn't give you anything. It gives you community, but you would have community if you were investing in yourself and doing the things that God was telling you to do. What is God telling you to do? What do you want to do with your life? What is it that you feel like you're compelled to do? Why aren't you doing that? But you're going to church every Sunday. And if you don't go, you're outcasted. And see, that's the thing with the church. It gives, like, it tells, homophobia, homosexuality is terrible, or whatever. Transphobia is terrible. Like, it's like it creates division in the Black community. It creates an excuse for us to hate each other. It gives us it gives us reasons to have hierarchies. And, I'm good if I'm Christian, you're bad if you're not, you're a sinner, this, that, and the third. Like, you could be using that same, like, I got y'all, the last whipping that I ever got was because I wasn't getting ready for church fast enough. That was the last one I ever got. And I remember getting it because it was just like this. I remember thinking in my mind, this is ridiculous. I remember thinking, this is ridiculous. Like, we're going. We're going. I'm getting dressed, Mom. And because I wasn't getting dressed fast enough, I got whipped. That's what church does. It makes it so that people feel so inclined to getting there and to, like, showing up and making your Sunday's best and putting on this show that if you don't put on this show correctly, you will be punished. That's what it teaches you. Like, that's like, and you go into the church and then there's a hierarchy within the church. If you're a part of the pastor's family, you're good to go. If you're like an usher, you're good to go. But, like, if you're part of that family over there, you're not good to go. If you've been in a Black church, you know what I'm talking about. It's like you pretend like it's like, oh, everyone loves each other, love that sister, love that brother. But, like, even within the church, there's dynamics, hierarchies, oppressive systems. It's just like... And then another thing that it teaches is, turn the other cheek. It teaches that docility. It teaches, love thy neighbor, even if your neighbor is being a piece of crap to you. It teaches forgive. It teaches stay in your marriage no matter what. Even if your spouse is knocking you upside the head. Like, it doesn't teach you good lessons. It teaches you to hate yourself. It teaches you are not good enough. It teaches you you are born into this world of sin, so you're automatically a sinner. And from the moment you take your first breath, you owe somebody something. You're not good enough. And it teaches, like, that it creates the dynamic that if you are praying harder than someone else, or your faith is stronger than someone else, it rewards people who have the most blind faith. If you have the most blind faith, you are at the top of the hierarchy. And if you question, you're wrong. If you think too hard, you're wrong. If you analyze, you're wrong. If you seek knowledge, you're wrong. And so people, it literally rewards stupidity. It rewards stupidity. The stupider and the less you question and the more you just believe it'll work out, the more the church rewards you. Doesn't that feel wrong? Am I the only one who makes that feels wrong? I'm the only person that feels wrong too? That's me? Okay. All right. I'm just saying. And then last thing, I'm wrapping up, I'm gonna land this plane, is that those mentalities of, like, not only just self-hatred, but, like, forgiveness to the people who have done wrong against you. As a Black community, I don't like that mentality, because we are wronged left and right over and over and over again by the U.S. government. Like, the U.S. government is the biggest oppressor of the Black community, and instead of standing up against them in a way that will work, and my personal way is not, like, I want us to leave. If you look at my videos, I want us to leave. Black people, we got to pack up our stuff and we got to go, because this is not it. This is never going to be it. They're never going to let us be free. They're always going to make excuses. They're always going to do something in order to keep us. And honestly, the way things are going right now, we already know as soon as they're done with the Latino community, and the immigrants, they're going to do their best to put us back on the fields. Their best. And so I'm just like, that is where we're going. And so it's before it gets there, I'm like, we all need to hit the road. Even before this started happening, I'm like, we need to hit the road, because even when Democratic people are in government, it's just like they don't do anything to help the Black community, left or right, up or down, center. In the United States, the United States government leverages black energy, black bodies, black harm. It don't matter. If we are, as a people, they only use us to extract any value that they can from us, and then leave the rest of us as the rest of whatever is left of us as collateral damage. And that is what they've done since the inception of this country, and that's what they will always do. And thus, we need to go. All of us as a collective, get out of here. But anyways, for those of us who don't want to get out of here, using your energy going to church instead of organizing a way to get the government to stop bothering us, like, we will never do that, because we are so, God will get them, they won't go to heaven and I will, and while you're sitting here suffering on earth. What Nina Simone say? She said, they tell us our heaven is in the sky while they have their heaven here on earth, or something like that. It was a bad quote, but you know what I mean? They have us suffering here, and they're having us pretend like we're going to heaven later, so that they can enjoy the fruits of our suffering while we suffer now, and then we will get probably nothing later. So that's it. Black people, it's time to wrap it up with this church. It's time to wrap it up. Church and Christianity as a whole, that's it. Bye.
I think God has had enough of the Black Christian church foolishness. Negroes have been going to church for how long now? And yet they still don't know anything about spiritual laws. What the fuck are they teaching y'all in church? How can you be a spiritual warrior? Spiritual battles, for our battles are not of flesh. How are you fighting spiritual battles with no spiritual law, background, knowledge, anything? You just bobbing and weaving from the devil, just hiding from the devil all day. That must be tiring. Need some more. God said rest. How can you rest with an overstimulated nervous system? But you ain't allowed to learn nothing about that, are you? Oh, that's that hoodoo, that's that witchcraft, that's that... Stop it. Absolute foolishness. God made your mind, your body that you think is so evil and wicked, and your spirit and soul. Stop being sold a lie. Get out of the falsehood, get out of the mask of Christianity, and learn who God is for real, for real. Learn who you are for real, for real. That's what'll change your life and get you out of oppression. Now that's worth 40 acres and a mule.
Black people are in love with the mechanics of church. It's the choirs, praise team, the churches that they fellowship with, their cliques, the visiting bishops. The pastors love the anniversaries and all of these other events where they get money from you beyond what you give every Sunday or whatever you do on Bible study days. They all love sitting in nice places looking down at y'all, calling you their flock, their people. At the end of the day, what does this religion do for you? I mean, honestly, think about it. Isn't it true you're just scared of this place called hell? And you've never done the research yourself to see why on earth you would believe such a place actually exists? Yeah, black people okay with castration. It sounds like, just a slicing off the balls. No. It was devices made to crush slowly the testicles of black slaves, and then their balls were cut off. Now, why is this Jesus good?
I'm super happy because the conversations that needed to happen in the Black community are finally happening. And I remember I had these thoughts about religion or about Christianity and about the chokehold it had the Black community in. And I remember one of my mentors being like, it's not yet, like, it's not time. But we're now able to have those conversations because of all the shit that's happening. Because when you're in community, part of being in community with people is dealing with their concerns and their questions, not just telling everybody, be quiet, this is what we're doing, be quiet, we all need to be
be in alignment so we can move together. Like, yes, we can be in alignment, and we can get there by hearing each other out and addressing each other's concerns. And a lot of our concerns are how the book did this same God who's so great and so willing, and like all these wonderful things, justify slavery. And I got black folks in the comments now defending it like Christianity has nothing to do with slavery. And I'm like, but Christianity comes from the Bible that is connected to the Old Testament, where God condoned slavery in the Old Testament and then never said anything about it. But even, like, I'm pretty sure, I gotta go double check, where it says slaves obey your masters. The fuck do you think that means? That's condoning slavery. But anywho, the people making comments like, oh, well, that 400 years was just, a day is like 1,000 years to God. And I'm like, so that's your response? That's like telling a kid who got their ass whooped or beat while they were growing up, well, it was just your childhood and luckily it didn't last. Like, that's the same logic. And the fact that they don't see what a chokehold this religion has them in, because it's the same chokehold they tried to put our ancestors in. But those of us that knew better didn't fall for that shit and kept doing our own stuff beneath the surface. And that's what a lot of them aren't ready to hear yet. I wasn't ready to hear that. I thought talking to my ancestors was evil, and I wonder where I got that idea from. Of course, this religion wants you to think that talking to your ancestors and connecting with people that look like you is demonic, because once you connect to the real story, now you're going to be looking at them like, well, the fuck did you cut me off from my people and the things that have kept us alive for centuries over there on our own continent. So anyhow, this is a cool thought. I'd love to see it.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin? Love me. Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose? Love me. And the shape of your lips? Love me. Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.